So what's up, people, and welcome to the Chapter 78 discussion of Kaiju 8号or Kaiju number 8. So Chapter 78 came out about 10 days ago, and as always I will leave a link to this chapter that's currently being shown on the publisher's official website, Manga Plus, for free to the North American audience. So if you're interested, I will go take a look at it before they pull this chapter back. Okay, so Chapter 78. There's not much to say about Chapter 78, and it's not because it's bad, but it's because of the type of chapter it is. If you recall, in Chapter 77, all of these S-class monsters appeared to take on the very high-powered members of the JDF. And the ending of Chapter 77 showed Kikoru Shinomiya about to engage in her battle. And for whatever reason, Matsumoto Naoya seems to be focusing a lot of attention on Kikoru Shinomiya. Whatever that monster is, monster number 15, seems to have some sort of connection with Kikoru. So the story felt like it was going to focus a lot on Kikoru. And as we expected, Chapter 78 is all about Kikoru. And the reason why I say there is not much to say is because she was about to engage in a fight in Chapter 77, and Chapter 78 is all about the fight. And because of that, it's really hard to do a narration with regards to a fighting chapter. The only thing I will say is Matsumoto Naoya did a fantastic job with regards to making this chapter exciting. It was really, really intense. And it made me realize Matsumoto Naoya is really good at making action scenes. And the characteristic I find with regards to him is there are writers out there who are really good at making very detailed illustration and images of a battle, such as Hokuto no Ken. And then there are others that go over the top with regards to the blood and gore, like you see in Chainsaw Man or in Berserk. Matsumoto Naoya doesn't really do that, and much of his illustrations are relatively simple in design. But the thing I really like about his writing style is whenever he goes into a fight, you really do feel that intensity. And I was thinking about just why is that with regards to his drawings and his fighting. It's not particularly that the movements are any more detailed than many of the other writers. But what I realized, especially with this chapter, is that he really is good at portraying intensity and the sheer terror that may come out during a battle. These kaijus are seriously strong. And so, as good as Kikoru is, and as much as she's ready to step up, this battle needs to be extremely intense, and Matsumoto Naoya doesn't disappoint. The chapter starts out where headquarters basically gives full command to Kikoru for her division, and the first thing she tells the battalion is to get away and just make sure that the afterbeasts are taken care of. Mostly because if they are here, they will get in the way of the battle. She needed the freedom to be able to battle one-on-one. And in the beginning of Chapter 78, once everything is clear, you could see Kikoru getting ready to take on monster number 15. And that's when you see the intensity come out. Because considering the fact that she is saying that she's about to attack, the first thing she has to do is defend herself completely against a very intense attack from monster number 15. It just came out of nowhere, and she just barely got away to stay alive. And you realize just from this particular scene that she is in for a tremendous fight. And the thing again is Matsumoto Naoya really knows how to bring that intensity out. A lot of times, even when an S-class opponent comes out, a lot of other mangas tend to go into a even level battle until the opponent gives some special move that takes the protagonist down for a short period of time. But in this case, Kikoru, considering that she has just powered up and is using her battle suit to her highest level, She is just barely staying alive. And the images that you see here of the battle is so intense. She understands just how hard this battle is, and so she focuses down on everything that she learned from Commander Narumi and starts utilizing those moves. And the scene that you see here really shows that well. But the scene right after that is, despite her using all the new moves that she learned, she barely can stay alive because monster number 15 is pressuring her so much. And the other thing I love about Matsumoto Naoya's writing style of action is the intensity that you see in the characters' faces. There are a lot of mangas out there where they go, "Oh my gosh, that attack was so strong. If it had hit me, I would have died right away." And yet, considering how intense the battle is, the facial expression of the character that you're looking at looks like they're basically watching the battle on the news rather than being in the battle themselves. It's about that level of intensity. And every once in a while, the main character will do a long monologue or start laughing for whatever reason because they're like, "Haha, I'm not afraid of this." But in this case, you see the sheer terror in Kikoru's eyes. And considering the fact that this is Kikoru Shinomiya, the prodigy of the rookie team, the level of intensity and the sheer terror in her eyes really brings out the understanding that this is a life or death battle. And at the end of the chapter, as much as Kikoru tried to do the best she can, she is completely overwhelmed by monster number 15, and after receiving a devastating attack, her defenses go completely down. And the image of that, once again, is really well done because you see the sheer pain in Kikoru's eyes when she receives that attack. And so we know that Kikoru's in trouble, and just when we thought that it couldn't get any worse, the chapter ends with monster number 15 looking down on Kikoru and powering herself up even more. And so this was a wonderful chapter. When they said that this was an S-class level monster that was coming in, and Narumi said that we were going to have difficulty fighting these monsters, it was really hard to see whether that was really true or not. And it was absolutely necessary to see chapter 78 in this way so that we understand just what is at stake here. Now, the difficulty, I will say, is what happens next. When you have a situation where the protagonist is so overwhelmed by the antagonist, and then they're about to power up to the next level, it becomes very difficult for the author to be able to find a way for the protagonist to at least get away, if not win. And a lot of mangas tend to create a situation where they pull a solution out of their you-know-where to resolve the problem. You know, whether it's nakama power or plot armor or something like that. So it's going to be interesting to see. Matsumoto Naoya has put Shinomiya in a situation where if this battle continues, in a real situation, she would be dead. So how are they going to resolve this? And so it'll be interesting to see how Matsumoto Naoya continues on. But if he continues this battle the way it's going, yeah, it's going to be pretty darn good. And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in chapter 79. But this is the chapter 78 discussion of Kaiju 8号. And once 79 comes out, I'll bring out another video and hope you join me at that time. Until then, happy manga reading, and as always, Jaya, nice day everyone.